Hi, today we're going to talk about Quant with the ticker symbol QNT. And the reason why we look at Quant is because the token has been appreciating quite drastically recently. In the last 7 days, the price went up from $44 all the way to $57. Just in the last 24 hours, we got a 7.6% performance, while trading volume went up 20%. And with that, Quant is now in the top 100 coins in terms of market cap. So what we're going to do in this video is we will not just look at the charts in terms of US dollars, we will also look at Quant relative to Bitcoin, and we will also look at the valuation versus Ethereum. So how many quants do you need in order to buy one Ethereum? This is useful for any altcoin evaluation to basically gauge how is money flowing in and out of the coin. The coin launched in the middle of 2018. Our first prices on this chart are in August 2018. And that's atypical for an altcoin because most altcoins, they either launched recently or during the big ICO boom at the end of 2017. So Quant launched after the big peak of Bitcoin. And what you see here in white is basically the launch of Quant right around this time frame. And so by that time, Bitcoin was already down around 60%. And that's noteworthy because most altcoins, they launched in this big boom phase over here, the big ICO boom phase. So Quant was late to the party. Bitcoin still had another crash in front of it, a 50% crash at the end of 2018. And Quant wasn't completely spared from that. There was a similar crash here in the Quant price. But in the grand scheme of things, you can see that Quant is way more volatile than Bitcoin. So you have these ups and downs of that magnitude in Quant quite frequently. So the question now is, since volatility here is so high, if you buy over here, could you see potentially another drop as we've seen in the past of like over 80%, 88% here in fact, or could we see support earlier? And what I like to do in those cases is I try to find a moving average that historically predicted the ups and downs of the asset comparatively well, and then use this moving average as the potential support, or at least as a potential signal of where we could sell if momentum turns bearish. So let's just do that. What you see here in white is a moving average, in this case the 30-day moving average. And so we will increase the average's duration until we find a line that relatively well separates the bull from the bear market. And we can see when we are too close to the price that these fluctuations actually trigger potential buy signals and sell signals where we actually don't want to have them. So what we want is whenever the price goes above the moving average, that we can be relatively confident that the price continues to rise, and when the price is below the moving average, that we can be confident that we are in a bear market. And so we continue increasing this moving average duration. We are increasing it further until we have very few of those potentially bad buying and selling signals. And so at 180, we've got a relatively good moving average. We don't have these wrong signals over here. We can tell when the price goes above the moving average that we're having a run. When the price goes below, that we're probably in bad territory. And here, this moving average also acted as a support in 2 different occasions at the end of 2000 and just recently here in May. And so just by looking at this moving average, we are currently extended by around 40%. But since the average is increasing quite steeply, by the time we will test this, we maybe drop only around, say, 29% or so. So I do think that the $45 range is probably a relatively good support. If we keep positive momentum, we are unlikely to go below the $36. Now, what's good about this recent run over here, this 80% run that moved Quant to the top 100 coins, is that this price increase happened while volume did not increase much. And so the price driver here is not necessarily additional attention, which might fluctuate over time from coin to coin, but it might be rather fundamentally driven. Now, I don't know Quant enough fundamentally to tell you exactly why this price increased here, but it doesn't seem to be a pump and dump. Because pump and dumps, they typically look different. Typically, when a price pumps because of additional attention, say over here where we got a real big volume increase, that's normally when attention is high. So maybe somebody pumped the coin and then the price shoots up within 2 days by like 30%, and then comes afterwards the big dump. So you don't want to have low volume and then suddenly a price increase that coincides with a volume increase, because this additional attention is fleeting. It goes from coin to coin. And so you don't want to be the last person that buys into such a pump. But the recent increase that we see here, it did not coincide with additional volume. And that's in general good. Now there's a problem here, right? Obviously we don't want to drop all the way down to this support. But the bigger problem is the general market. Altcoin prices tend to move very much in the same direction as Ethereum. So what you see over here is the Quant US dollar price. But let's look at the Quant Ethereum price. So this is Quant in Ethereum, the Quant price divided by the Ethereum price. And what you can see is a relatively stable trading range. We've got our resistance, we've got our support, and the price somewhat hovers in between here. Now, can you use this actively for trading? Maybe, but only if nothing that you care about is your Ethereum balance. But in the end, probably at some point in time, you still want to convert it back into fiat and buy something. So probably the US dollar valuation of your crypto holdings is more important to you than your Ethereum valuation. So the number of ETH you have. And so this chart here is good to in general see where we are relatively valued and how money flows in and out of the coin. But if you want to make US dollars in the end, what you always have to look at is what is actually Ethereum doing. Because the price of Ethereum dictates where altcoins in the end will go. And I personally think we've currently got a problem with Ethereum. This is the Ethereum US dollar chart. And what specifically here is the problem? It's those two moving averages over here. The 39-day moving average here in light blue and the 23-day moving average here in dark blue. And the price is below both of those moving averages. The price has in fact bounced from the 23-day moving average. And so we are still very bearish on Ethereum. So why exactly those two moving averages? I've done a separate video on this. You can have a look at my channel and search for best moving averages for Ethereum. But here's a quick recap. I have backtested all moving averages from the 2-day moving average all the way to the 360-day moving average. And I've done a backtesting simulation, as in when you buy Ethereum whenever the price is above the moving average and you sell whenever the price is below the moving average, what would have been your return per annum if you followed such a strategy with Ethereum? And when you do this backtesting for all moving averages, what you find out is that the 23 and the 39-day moving average work best. So the backtesting result looks something like this. When the price falls below the moving average, so the average here, the 23-day moving average is in purple. When the price is below, then we are in cash. And so our portfolio line here is completely flat. When, however, the price goes above the moving average, then we start investing again and we follow the price movements. And so when you make this backtesting, you will find out that when you trade according to the 23-day moving average, you outperform the raw buying and holding strategy quite significantly. So this is the end result when you trade according to the 23-day moving average, and this is the Ethereum price. And so for the 23-day moving average, you get this kind of portfolio line. For the 39-day moving average, you get this. So both quite extensive outperformance. And so this is what this table here shows. You get 166% per annum when you trade according to the 23 and 144% when you trade according to the 39-day moving average. And when you just buy and hold, you get 56%. And so that's why whenever I look at the Ethereum price and I try to gauge the general momentum for trading altcoins, for making US dollar profits in altcoins, I always look at those two moving averages. And unfortunately, we are still below the moving average. The first positive sign is if we would go back to say 2,565. So we close a day around this price. But the real confirmation is when we break this 39-day moving average, and that's currently at around 2,900. So if you're interested in not just making ETH when trading altcoins, but you actually want to make US dollar gains, look at this chart and always look at these two moving averages. Historically speaking, they have worked the best. There's real data, there's real statistics behind those two moving averages. And so I personally think this is the best bet you have to time your altcoin trading activity. And so even though Quant currently looks interesting because it has this positive momentum, it has low volume, and both of those points are very good, there's still a lot of danger here. Ethereum still looks negative. We do have a potential drop of 20% very easily, maybe even 30% or so. And so what I would do is I would still wait. I personally think it's too dangerous to bet hard-earned money here. Maybe we are lucky at some point in time and we see Ethereum going up while Quant stays flat, and then the Quant to Ethereum valuation might drop, and it might drop to this potential support over here, which is around a 20% drop here. So this is the Quant to ETH chart. But until we have this clear breakout in the general market, I would hold off. I personally wouldn't take on that risk. No financial advice, but that's how I currently see it. If you enjoyed this video, please give this a like. YouTube will then help the channel grow. If you haven't yet, feel free to subscribe as well. I publish videos at least twice, sometimes 3 times per week. And in case you've got Telegram, we've also got a spam-free, discussion-only, nice and small group. You can find the link in the video description down below. See you next time. Bye bye.